What's up guys, welcome back to the Run with Jay channel. So in today's video we're going to be doing a 100-mile review of the NIKE Vaporfly Next percent. So this shoe's been out over a year now, so I finally got about 100 miles on this thing. So I'm going to do a complete review of this shoe as well as the review on the durability and see how this shoe compares now to the new updated shoes that have been released lately. So if you guys are new to this channel, welcome. Please hit that like and subscribe button as well as the bell for notifications, and let's get started. So let's go over the specs again for those who are not familiar. The shoe was released at about April 28th of 2019, so a little bit over a year now. This shoe weighs at about 6.5 ounces for a size 9, and the shoe costs $250, so it's no longer the highest priced shoe at Nike, which has been taken over by the Alpha Flies. And this shoe has a 8mm offset with a 40mm in the heel and 32mm in the forefoot. So this color is the electric green color that was released originally when the shoe came out. Now there's like tons of colors that are available. There's been the white and black one that was just recently released. There is the Ecodin version, which is the orange and teal looking color. There's the pink guava ice color, and then the white blue ribbon color. So tons of colors now, and you can also actually design your own color now, available on the Nike website. So this shoe is made up of a few important components. You have the upper, which is the vapor weave material. It's very water resistant, almost waterproof, so that is great, with the asymmetrical laces and the separate tongue as well. That also has some vapor weave material. And you've got the Zoom X foam that's underneath, which at the time was the highest, most Zoom X foam you could put in the shoe. And then on the bottom, you've got the rubber outsole, which is mostly focused on the top part of the shoe, although you've got a couple of rubber strips on the bottom, and then the rest is exposed foam. And then somewhere in the middle is that coveted full-length carbon fiber plate that gives you that bounce and springiness when you run. So having about 100 miles on this shoe, durability wise, this shoe has definitely lasted pretty good so far. If you look at the rubber outsole, pretty much everything's intact. I don't see any issues with the rubber. There's still plenty of traction left, it looks like. On the bottom, I guess the grooves of the rubber on the bottom have kind of worn away, so now it's really smooth and even. Although there's still rubber there, you can slowly see that the rubber is getting faded away, and then the foam is going to be in place of it, so it's going to be uneven soon. The rest of the foam seems fine. The color is just yellowed out a little bit, probably due to the water and some of the washing that I did, but it shouldn't affect the performance of the shoe. So the shoe is holding up relatively good after 100 miles. Performance-wise, the carbon fiber plate definitely isn't the same as when you open the box. You definitely feel a loss of springiness, but it's still really, really quick, and it hasn't really lost that much of a touch yet. They did say the shoe should last at least around 200 miles, so I think this shoe still has some life left. So when I ran with the shoe recently, I still felt the pop and springiness. That hasn't changed. It might have, like I said earlier, the carbon fiber might, not be as springy as when it was out of the box, but it's still, it's not very noticeable, and you'll definitely still run fast in the shoe after 100 miles. So, everything's pretty solid. The foam is still good. Foam's still pretty intact. I haven't, felt any issues with the foam. So there's still plenty of foam left, and I thought there was going to be a lot of wrinkles with the foam in this shoe, but apparently after 100 miles still looks pretty new. In some of the shoes, the foam gets really creased up and wrinkled, but not so much in this shoe. So major wear is on the bottom of the shoe with the rubber strips, especially by the heel part, and that's really about it. So, everything else is still good with this shoe after 100 miles. Now when we look at the comparisons between this shoe and the current updated shoes out in the market, Of course, you got to compare this to the Alpha Fly. The Alpha Fly is about 4 millimeter less than the Offset. It weighs at about an ounce more for the same size, and it also costs $25 more. One thing about the Alpha Fly is it's got a much more foam compared to the shoes, about 15% more, I believe. It also uses the adamant material on the upper, which is one piece, so there's no more just separate tongue like on the Vaporfly. Also, you have the carbon fiber plate that's going to be variable in the Alpha Fly, where it's the thickness depends on the size of your shoe, and also the flexibility is dependent on the size as well. And of course, you got those two Zoom Air Pods that are now on the bottom of the forefoot to give you that more support and bounce. So I know between this shoe and the Alpha Flies, and they're both great shoes, this shoe would be my go-to shoe for faster and shorter distance races, like 5K all the way to half marathon. And then the Alpha Flies would be a shoe that I would have used for a full marathon or maybe more. But of course, you can use the Alpha Fly for any races, but you know, that's just what looks like what Nike designed that shoe for longer races where you're able to maintain that speed and pace for a longer period of time without your legs being tired. While in this, the Vaporfly is just meant to go fast. Yes, it does have foam and support to keep you running. You can definitely run a marathon in this thing, and you know, people have done it, tons of people. So you know, it's you will feel it's if you have run in both of those shoes, you'll definitely feel the difference in the way and the comfort of the Alpha Fly compared to this. This shoe is very comfortable as well, but the Alpha Fly is just a lot more comfortable. So, you know, it'll just maintain your speed and pace a lot longer, I would say, in this shoe. So this is great because it's lighter, about an ounce. So if you're looking for speed and breaking records for 5Ks and any shorter races, this would be the shoe that I would choose. So this is also a great shoe. I think it's a quicker shoe than the Alpha Flies. But, you know, it's up to personal taste. Both of those shoes are amazing. When you compare this shoe to the Adidas Adizero Pro, it's, you know, leaps and bounds. I think that shoe over at Adidas still needs some work. I mean, they're doing better in terms of technology and design of their shoes, but it's still not on par with the Vaporfly. The shoe that I did find surprising was the Saucony Endorphin Pro. When I tested that shoe was almost on par with the Vaporfly in terms of weight, you know, class and everything. Weighs about the same. The offset is the same, but however the stack height is a little bit lower on the Endorphin, which is 33 in the heel and then 25 in the forefoot, and it costs about $50 less. So, you know, overall, Endorphin Pro is a great shoe. It was very comfortable and super soft. I really liked the Power Run foam that they're using, as well as the carbon fiber plate they got in that shoe. When I ran with that shoe, it almost felt very similar to the Vaporfly. I would give the Vaporfly an edge by just a tiny amount, just because of the foam on the shoe and the springiness in the carbon fiber plate for this. But you know, the Endorphin Pro is a very good alternative. It's almost just as good as the Vaporfly, if not the same, to some people. So that is the only shoe so far that I've tested that's non-Nike that's, you know, comparable to the Vaporfly in terms of speed and comfort. So, you know, between all the other shoes, this shoe is, you know, still in its class of its own, you know, in terms of speed. So a lot of the technology in this shoe I still really like the vapor weave material. It's probably one of the most water resistant fabric I've ever raced in or ran in. When you get water on this, it's pretty much waterproof unless you get it somewhere inside of your shoe, and then, you know, you really can't do anything. But this vapor weave is what they use on boats for sailing, apparently. So it's super light and super water resistant, which has helped when I ran a half marathon in the rain. And it's also got the Achilles padding that's also in the Vapor Alpha Flies, and also the Temple Next percent. And overall, yeah, the only thing I would have against the shoe is the tongue. Sometimes when you put your feet in, it's very hard to flatten all of the edges out because, you know, it's a separate piece. So I would have to stick my finger in there and try to, you know, flatten it out. It's a little bit difficult at times. But other than that, you know, I really don't have any negatives to say, or bad things to say about this shoe. You know, the foam at the time when it was released is super thick and a great amount of foam, so it's still good. I had no pain or anything running in it. It does feel a little bit constricted and tight when you put your foot in, but I think that's, that is not a big deal for me. The top of the foot has enough space for if you have a wider feet. Yeah, durability wise, it's, after doing a lot of tests, it's been pretty good, so I have no problems with that. So yeah, NIKE Vaporfly Next percent still pretty good after 100 miles. So thank you guys for watching this video. So the NIKE Vaporfly after 100 miles is still good. It's still, got plenty of life left, and this is still a shoe that I would use for many types of races, up till the marathon. So it's still an amazing shoe, even to this day, even after the Alpha Flies were released. They both, although they look similar or they have similar properties, they have their purposes, I believe. So one is, a longer distance shoe for like the marathon, and this is for everything else basically. But when this shoe was originally released, people use this for everything, including the marathon. So, the shoes lasted over 100 miles. It's still got some pop left. So, we'll see. I'll do another review when this shoe hits the next milestone, maybe at 200 miles. So we'll see how it goes. But overall, this is still an amazing shoe and still coveted, and people are still trying to buy it right now, and they're still being sold out super quickly. So that should tell you something. So the NIKE Vaporfly Next percent, $250, still pretty good after 100 miles, and still an awesome racing shoe. So I hope you guys are staying safe out there. Your training's going well. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll talk to you guys on the next run.